sold tonight. We understand a far different atmosphere than 3 weeks ago when we had Ward and Gaddy to a full house, sold out for weeks, great electricity. But it is Evander Holyfield, and out there in television land, presumably on this cold winter night, a lot of folks are tuning in.
Well, let's go to ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr. and see if he can generate some electricity with his official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you and welcome to Boardwalk Hall here in Atlantic City, New Jersey, as it's time for the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Don King Productions in association with Caesars Atlantic City, Fight Night Inc., HBO Sports, and CM Exchange of Chicago. This bout is sanctioned by the IBF, the President Marion Muhammad, Supervisor Ray Wheatley, along with the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board Commissioner Larry Hazard, Chairman Gerard Gormley. Introducing to you our three judges scoring this bout from ringside: Eugene Grant, John Stewart, and Steve Weisfeld, with our third man in the ring, the referee in charge of the action, working in this, his 29th world title bout, Randy Newman. All right, fans, here we go. The time has come for the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the vacant IBF Heavyweight Championship of the world. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Atlantic City, it is fight time! Introducing to you first on my left, he is fighting out of the blue corner, entering the ring wearing white trunks, hailing from and representing his home of Atlanta, Georgia. He weighed in at 220 pounds. His record stands at 38 wins, 5 losses, 2 draws, with 25 wins coming by way of knockout. Having held the heavyweight title and unequaled 4 times, he is known as one of boxing's great warriors. Currently ranked the #2 IBF contender, here is the former undisputed cruiserweight world champion and the former 4-time heavyweight champion of the world, introducing the one and only Evander, the real deal Holyfield. And his opponent across the ring on my right, ready to fight out of the red corner, wearing blue trunks, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Flint, Michigan. He weighed in at a ready 214 pounds with a record of 34 wins and 2 losses. He has 19 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former WBO heavyweight world champion, the current IBF #1 ranked heavyweight. Here is the classy top contender, introducing Chris Byrd. And once again, a referee in charge, Randy Newman, now to give instructions.
Okay, gentlemen, you're both familiar with the rules. We've gone over them. I want you to remember 2 things. Obey my commands. Most importantly, defend yourselves at all times. Now shake hands and come out at the bell.
Many casual fans who don't know much about Chris Byrd, and even some serious fans who do, will be surprised, if not shocked, that at the last call in Las Vegas, Byrd is more than a 2-to-1 favorite tonight.
There's more than 5,000 fans here tonight also. A lot more.
A lot of paper in the house too, George.
Crowd rising in energy as Randy Newman prepares to summon the fighters to the center of the ring, and here they come. A If you haven't seen Byrd before, instantly see the southpaw stance. Holyfield has had 3 previous fights against southpaws in his professional career. 2 of them, of course, in the heavyweight division against Michael Moorer. Won 1, lost 1. Byrd, an entirely different kind of fighter than Moorer, though. Not a power puncher like the former heavyweight champ who was knocked out by George Foreman.
Byrd has got to get in there and show sometime at some point or another that he can punch, stand up to these big guys and get a knockdown. Don't just be counted on to run and get out of the way and duck. That's what he should do tonight. Step up to the bat. Evander Holyfield has got to make certain that he don't allow this guy to move to his right. He's very weak on his right side. He seems not to be able to see shots over there.
On Holyfield's right side.
Holyfield's right side is very weak.
So in other words, if Byrd moves to his left, he's going to the side where Holyfield has trouble defending himself.
That's right, and Holyfield can't seem to, he's not lost coordination on that side for some reason.
Meanwhile, Byrd starts out moving in exactly the opposite direction, rotating from left to right, and slams Holyfield with a straight left hand.
That's good. Holyfield's got to get busy. You got to make certain this guy's elbows are never out overextended. Keep those elbows sharp. Taps you close.
Byrd lands a straight left hand. Holyfield lands a left hook on Byrd against the ropes. Evander, for his part, says, I must focus on the body. When you miss against Byrd, you tend to miss upstairs, and it wears you out when you miss big shots against him. My idea, says Evander, go to his body and just try to keep my hands on him. But he's going upstairs and missing.
Well, that's not so bad for him upstairs because Byrd is not that tall. He's been missing guys who are a lot taller. This time he's going to land a lot more shots than he normally does with the taller guys. The referee is going to have to make certain that those are not backhands with that right jab that Byrd is throwing.
Well, it's a fine line. It's a fine line because he lays it out there more or less with the hand open. And Byrd is such a soft puncher. I mean, he's really trying most of the time simply to make some impact.
But he's thrown more hard punches in this round than he normally does, particularly earlier in the fight.
Holyfield got in his best punch to the body so far, a left hook to the ribcage under Byrd's right elbow.
And that's Evander Holyfield's best punch, if you ask me, that left hook to the body.
Totally agree.
Holyfield trying to make the counter puncher come to him.
Hard right hand by Holyfield drives Byrd to the ropes. Byrd ducks another punch as the round comes to a close.
That's what he'll try to do. The last 30 seconds, he gonna try to rush you. Keep him in center of the ring. He can't touch you out there. You need to get in close to do what he got to do, okay?
How do you feel? I feel great.
Yeah, you got to keep that jab, knowing them with it. Just knowing with it. And drop that left hand. You know what you got to do. You got to touch it
on the other side.
Any more?
Holyfield lands a right toward the end of the round. You wonder if that will influence the scoring of that round. Very difficult rounds to score. Incidentally, you saw Chris Byrd's mother and father in the corner with him between rounds.
Brother Patrick also plays a role in there. Mother Rose, Father Joe, fixtures in the Byrd corner. CompuBox numbers in round 1. Holyfield only 6 of 29 by CompuBox estimate. Byrd 13 out of 47. Yet Harold Letterman, perhaps influenced by that sharp right hand toward the end, elected to give the round to Evander.
I gave it to Byrd.
Well, a lot of these rounds figure to be tough to score.
The judge Letterman has been pretty much right on the number these days. It's hard to go against him.
Byrd sticking the jab. Holyfield still trying to determine exactly what he wants to do against Byrd.
He's trying to make him come forward.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
Shot.
And here comes Holyfield lashing out and hitting Byrd with a right hand to the chest. Yeah, elaborate on this, George, because it looks as though he's trying to lull the counterpuncher.
Counterpunchers love to make you miss first, and then they hit you with something. That's what you got to do, is make them throw something and then start countering on them occasionally, and you make them give it up.
So Holyfield is purposely staying back and trying to lure Byrd to him.
Right, counterpunchers love to duck. The best one will tell you, I'll do it, let me duck first. A good straight left by Byrd that time. Yeah.
Byrd popping and spinning, popping and spinning.
If you Holyfield, you don't want him to get that kind of courage to just stand there and just don't do anything. You got to touch him, if nothing else.
Holyfield short with the winging right. Byrd still just popping the jab, little straight left hand, just trying to get his hands onto Evander and score.
Byrd's corner told him, look, stay in the middle of the ring. He can't get you out there. And Holyfield needs that close to the ropes to land 2 shots to Byrd. Misses him if he's out in the middle, but if he's close to the rope, he's going to land that 1-2 combination. That was a rope, and he didn't do anything.
A lot of distance between Byrd and Evander fighting this way. At some point, does Holyfield have to get closer, George?
He's got to keep the fight close at all times. Byrd does not like close fighting.
Yeah, but the thing is, Holyfield's trying to fight, not his fight. This is not the kind of fight that Evander Holyfield has ever fought before, as long as I can remember, of trying to go on a defensive and lure the other fighter into him consistently.
Well, he's always been in with the bigger guys who's attacking him anyway. So it's pretty much what he likes, you to come after him. He'll beat you up. He just doesn't go after people as well. Love for you to try him.
I mean, this is a very big round for Byrd.
Yes, in the second round, Holyfield has looked too passive, too hesitant, and Byrd has been able to score. This Tuesday on Real Sports, Bryant Gumbel goes head-to-head with Martha Burke, leading the campaign to allow women as members at Augusta National, home of the Masters.
The good old days are gone from Augusta. And as soon as they face that, they're going to be better off, and golf will be better off.
And December 27 on the record with Bob Costas returns with a special edition, looking back at 2002 and speaking with some of the top newsmakers of the year. Serena and others. CompuBox numbers in round 2. Look at that. Holyfield throwing 14, and by CompuBox estimate, landing 1. That was the right hand to the heart. Byrd 21 out of 59, 36%. So just as I say that the rounds would be difficult to score, you get an open and shut case. But this fight could change several times, it seems to me, as Holyfield explores tactics against Byrd.
Byrd is no longer throwing the kind of little pity-pat feather duster punches he used to. He may not be throwing big, heavy punches, but he's throwing sharp punches.
Now Holyfield is starting to get a little more activity going.
Looks like he wants to go to war a little bit, George.
Yeah, you just can't land the hard shots. Just settle for the mid-range shots just to make certain that you touch this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let the ref say break.
Evander, 2 right hands upstairs, 2 digging left hooks to the body. Another digging left hook to the body.
Now, Evander Holyfield is fighting the right kind of fight, but you don't want to be throwing too much energy away with the power. He's fighting them the correct way, but too much energy in those shots. You got to step back and breathe once you do that.
It was interesting on the ropes how Byrd held his gloves up around his head to avoid Holyfield's head.
I think he was trying to avoid Holyfield's punches.
Well, maybe that
maybe
too.
Both. Hey, maybe both, guys. You know, it makes sense. Byrd himself said that he didn't want to focus in any way, shape, or form on the question of whether Holyfield butts. He'll leave that to the referee and just try to box it.
Holyfield does for allowing Byrd to box, relax when he wants. Just can't do that with that.
There's the first headbutt of the fight.
There's a fight. Let's go.
And Byrd turns to Randy Newman and says, do something.
The old guy using his head.
against the rope, you got to hit him. You just got to hit him.
Is this the kind of fight that Evander Holyfield was worried about when he said he didn't want to fight a guy with this style, George?
Yeah, because this guy lifts his right hand up every now and then, doesn't do anything, keeps you ducking and dodging, and makes you look foolish once you decide I'm going to hit him.
Good body punch by Byrd.
Outstanding left to the belly, right in the center of the gut.
Now Holyfield decides that whenever Byrd throws his right, Holyfield has got to throw his right. You just can't wait and try to jab with him. Make it a dance.
Well, after a first minute of aggression, Evander Holyfield seemed to go back into that shell for the remaining 2 minutes of the round.
Keep working head. You got to run that hand.
Try to frustrate him. He uses his head like crazy.
Yeah, don't get down in there. You know you're going to use his head.
In the paper about that.
Give me a towel. Don't let him get his head in there. Okay? Don't let that head in there. So you letting the head get in. Don't go on the rope. Keep him in center ring. He lost that there. He can't get his head in the center ring.
He can back you up. There's no need for you backing up.
Punching combinations, baby. That's all you gotta do. Get close, little easy punching.
There's the first clash of heads as Holyfield comes in aggressively, trying to get into the chest of Byrd. And there's that straight left body punch by Byrd.
And you heard the conversation between Chris Byrd and his dad about Evander Holyfield's head. Harold, how do you have the first three?
Okay, Jim, 29-28, 2 rounds to 1, Chris Byrd. Jim, let me tell you something about scoring this fight. You know, basically speaking, I always say that the most important factor in judging a round is clean, effective punching. When you're judging a Evander Holyfield fight, basically what you're trying to figure out is who's doing more damage. In round 1, when Evander landed those big shots at the end of the round, he did more damage in a round. But 2 and 3, clearly Byrd rounds. One other thing about the rules, you're not allowed to spin a guy. If you spin a guy and you hit him, then the referee should take away a point.
Holyfield getting in another digging left hook to the body and getting Byrd's attention with that right-hand body shot as well.
Byrd is real good at spinning, but he's not one of these foul guys. After he spins, he never tries to hit you. That's good about it.
Chris Byrd he's certainly got the personality and the temperament of a great sportsman. There's no bigger fan of boxing among all boxers in the world than Chris Byrd, as was evidenced partially by the fact that he was there at ringside last Saturday night to watch Vladimir Klitschko and Jamil McLean 1 week removed from coming here to fight Evander Holyfield. He's just a fan who can't resist the sport.
That's why he's learned how to operate with that style he has. It's awkward. He knows it's awkward. And you get a guy who stands back and wait for you, you can beat him all night. And that's what Evander Holyfield is doing wrong tonight, standing back, waiting.
Well, the story's been told many times of how Byrd and his brothers were trained to box in an 11-foot by 14-foot basement room.
Now Evander's picked up his right-hand leads.
There it goes.
Got to bring that right foot a little closer to your left and start leading with the right hand.
Interesting shift in momentum here. Holyfield getting Byrd's attention with body punches.
And he's hitting him in the chest, too. That's a good shot for Evander. Evander's corners better tell him after those refs tell you to break, you got to be the first one to get back on the guy. Don't let him be the first one.
Hard left hand from Byrd, hard right hand from Holyfield. Now Byrd popping the jab right onto Evander's chin. Very accurate punching there by Chris Byrd.
And stiff jabs.
Come in here.
Holyfield finding that to hit Byrd in the head is like trying to catch a butterfly with tweezers. It's very, very hard.
Very easy if you take the power off the shot. Stop trying to hit him with a big shot.
And Holyfield gets in 4 shots to punctuate the round after Byrd had spent the previous minute beating Evander to the punch. Tracy Byrd, wife of Chris, mother of 3, looking on from ringside, like her husband, huge fan of the sport. There's one of the Byrd progeny. Only one old enough to come to the fights. Looks worried.
Yeah, don't let him do that to you, the last. He's trying to steal around the whole Ali stuff.
Under him?
Back. Yeah.
Throw your hook in a way to where it works, okay? You have the water when you're done. Yes, sir. Throw your hook in the way it works. Okay?
Soft hook, hard right hand.
Soft, quick. Bing, 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 bing.
Four tactical rounds in the books, all of them interesting. Ebb and flow, shifting tides of fortune. Evander Holyfield with a 12-8 CompuBox edge in power connects in that last round. Several of those connects within the last 10 seconds of the round.
That referee is staying right out of the way. I like those kind of referees. Let the fighters make the shot.
Well, it's Randy Newman, a former heavyweight himself.
Holyfield's corner told him to tap with the hook. Straight right hand. He's still throwing it powerfully like that.
Well, that's because Byrd frustrates opponents, and when they get within range, they can't resist trying to overcome their frustration and hit them a hard punch.
But with a boxer like Evander Holyfield with that kind of experience, you got to know to take direction from your corner.
Chris Byrd is backing Evander Holyfield up. What is that?
Well, it's not a backup. It's going in a circle, as you see.
Okay.
It's circle. The old square circle, as they call it.
But he's not getting away from Byrd's jab, which Byrd is just sticking into his face over and over and over.
Because it's kind of a backhand punch there.
Yep.
I guess the ref just doesn't want to get into it now, but at some point or another, you want to check him with that backhand.
Break her out of there. Step back.
You're saying it's not a legal blow unless he balls the fist and hits him with a bunch of gloves.
Occasionally he does it correctly, then he switches off the backhand like that. Almost happened then.
Well, what he used to do was a kind of slap boxing, George. He's closing his fist some, but he's not throwing punches with mean intentions, but he's throwing sharp punches like that.
He's landed virtually every significant punch in this round.
Holyfield is just looking for one hard shot. That's the way you don't want to fight these counter punchers, looking for one shot. Got to throw 5 of them. Tap, 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 tap. Got him on the corner.
Right hand grazed Byrd. That one also a glancing blow. The body shots are landing. Now he gets a right hand in upstairs. Left hand to the body was a solid blow. Right hand on the top of the head. Byrd decides to throw back. Holyfield laying in and attacking.
Now he lets him be the first one back. That's the mistake Holyfield keeps making. He allows Byrd to be the first one back after these exchanges. He's got to be first.
Takes energy to do that.
Yeah, but you just got to suck it up and get some energy here.
Holyfield comes forward with his head and catches Byrd on the point of the chin with the top of his head after Byrd had landed 2 or 3 straight punches. Byrd popping and popping. Holyfield had the one big rally, but the rest of the round was Chris Byrd sticking the jab.
Breathe.
Hit down and put the water on his head.
Deep breath.
All you gotta do is take charge. Be first. Be first.
Little water, just a little bit. Okay, no water.
So let's take it. Here's the water. Yeah.
Remember the last few seconds now.
Don't get on them ropes.
Here, Holyfield has a moment on the ropes trying to bully Byrd. How effective is he? It's almost like trying to pick up a wet bar of soap in the shower because he is just so...
numbers in round 5. Byrd 19 out of 57. Holyfield 11 out of only 27. The heavyweight average for punches thrown in a round is 47. Holyfield hasn't gotten there yet or anywhere near it in any of these rounds as he hunts and pecks and looks for opportunities against Chris Byrd. And George, for a while there, you said he was looking to land one big shot. He's going against a guy who's made his whole career out of never catching that one big shot.
And because he's in with bigger guys think, hey, I can beat you, you can't punch, and they go for the big shot. You got to just make yourself a little guy like he faced as a middleweight.
Break.
Just imagine yourself as a middleweight and throw shots. It's effective. Don't just try to throw them hard. You can't miss it if you're Evander Holyfield.
You mentioned Byrd's only 2 losses. He himself says he made a mistake against Ike Biabuchi and got caught with a punch that he shouldn't have been hit with. But he says that Vladimir Klitschko noticeably shortened up his punches for the purpose of just connecting with Byrd, and he said that was a good strategy on Vladimir's part.
Yeah, well, a lot of people were down on Vladimir Klitschko last week because of that disappointing fight against an opponent who didn't come to fight. But just imagine that he took 11 out of 12 rounds from Byrd and knocked him down twice and just beat him up badly.
Holyfield looking for opportunities here in the 6th. And there's a low blow.
Get him up. Let's go.
The ref is saying, I'll let you guys box. I'll let you guys fight. I'm going to stay out of the way, but don't go low. Don't rabbit punch.
Byrd sticking the jab. Straight left hand, beating Holyfield to the punch over and over. Holyfield waiting again.
When Byrd goes to the body, that's insurance that Holyfield will not be strong in the last 3 rounds. Not only is he boxing him, but he's going to the body, which is very wise.
Holyfield lands a right upstairs as Byrd was whacking him with a left hook, or a left cross, I should say, to the head. One of the bigger punches of the fight for Holyfield, but he took punches in return to get it in.
Holyfield's corner told him to be first. Get back and be first. That's the first time he's done it.
Fighting against a southpaw, Holyfield goes straight right hand, straight right hand, straight right hand.
You can't miss it.
Byrd goes straight left hand and shows that the opposite is true as well.
Hey, stop punching. Let's go.
Through half this fight, Byrd has made Evander Holyfield look about 50.
Hey, Larry, I'm 50.
That's what I said.
January 16 on HBO Latino. Look for the premiere of a new series called Boxeo de Oro, presented and promoted by the not 50 Oscar De La Hoya. This monthly boxing series will feature up-and-coming Hispanic fighters. The first show, Jose Navarro against Carlos Madrigal and Oscar Larios against Marcos Licona. And then January 25, World Championship Boxing is back. Welterweight champ Vernon Forrest, Shane Mosley's nemesis, taking on belt holder Ricardo Mayorga, rough customer. Also the long-anticipated fight between cruiserweight champ Vasily Girov and former middleweight champion James Toney. Saturday, Jan 25. That's our next HBO World Championship Boxing show. Halfway through a 12-round fight. In the 6th round, Holyfield, by CompuBox estimate, threw 18 punches, and Byrd threw 61, landing 12 of 49 jabs. Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim, 5 rounds to 1, 59-55, Chris Byrd. Jim, I just think he's jabbing him to death with that right jab. But I got to tell you something about the rules. George Foreman said something very interesting. You're not allowed to open the boxing glove, just like George told you. You got to keep it closed. Now, at times, when Byrd throws that right jab, he opens the glove. Now, Randy Newman should warn him about that. If he keeps opening the glove, you take away a point. Under the rules, you must keep the glove closed.
Well, you know, I think it's abundantly clear by now that Randy Newman isn't going to warn him for opening the glove, despite the fact that he continues to do it.
Well, when it lands on Foreman's head, the glove closes.
You mean on Holyfield's head?
On Holyfield's head.
And if he comes over,
George.
If he comes over and punches Foreman, it'll probably close there too.
Right, step back. Let me have the swap.
Does this remind you just a little bit of Jimmy Young and you, George? I hate to bring it up, but Jimmy Young was a right-handed version of Chris Byrd.
I think Chris Byrd is in a league of his own.
That fight, George Foreman against Jimmy Young, was March 17, 1977 in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Memorable night. Launched George Foreman into the next incarnation of his existence, which was out of boxing for 10 years, and then he came back. What a story.
Beat the devil out of me. Evander is allowing this guy to just relax and do whatever he wants. Trying to counterpunch you. You just can't do it.
One of the discussions before the fight was reflexes. You have to have great reflexes to fight a quick counterpuncher like Byrd, and does Evander still have that?
No, you can't fight him with reflexes. You got to fight him with momentum. You got to get your chest right there on your head right there on his chest. Keep it there all night and throw some kind of punches.
Why is he not doing it?
I don't understand. What kind of training has he had?
No, I don't think that's it at all. I just think Evander can fight the big heavyweights because they don't move a lot. He can find a strategy against this guy. He just looks old. Just isn't there. You know, in a way, it's a heavyweight version of the lightweight fight we saw last week between Mayweather and Castillo. But it's more interesting because of the great personality and great fighter that Evander Holyfield is in America.
And you're saying that just as Mayweather was too quick and slick for Castillo, therefore Byrd is too quick and slick for Holyfield.
And he's even throwing harder punches than Mayweather did last week. And Holyfield looks discouraged as he goes to his corner.
You okay?
You got to get close. You got to get close and you got to punch. Throw straight punches. Don't throw the hook. Straight in front of you. Bing, bing, bing. Get close and throw them straight.
Tim, you're letting him know there's something wrong with his left shoulder. Don't do that. If you're going to do it, put it on the front.
More water.
A couple of things in Holyfield's corner. One, they're putting ice on his shoulder.
5-6 punches at a time.
And secondly, he didn't sit down in the corner for the first time in the fight. What reason could there be for that, George?
Second round, he hasn't sat down.
Yeah.
International feed for Don King overseas, being announced by veteran blow-by-blow announcer Bob Sheridan, also called the Colonel, and one Lennox Lewis, who accepted $1 million from Don King as step-aside money not to fight Byrd, along with a Range Rover, and as part of that deal is participating in honoring and being a part of the public presentation of the two fights that King has paired together, this and Jones-Ruiz. We'll try to talk to Lennox later. Round 8 begins with more Byrd popping at Holyfield from long distance, and we heard Don Turner, Holyfield's trainer, saying, you got to get close.
You got to get close, and you got to have heart, and that's what he's losing now. Gone to his corner twice and hasn't sit down on the stool. Generally, when a fighter starts out sitting down on the stool and doesn't go back, something is wrong. He's discouraged.
He looks like a lot of guys have looked in the late rounds after having been flummoxed by Chris Byrd. And now Byrd is starting to smile and laugh.
Evander's turned southpaw.
And that's what Byrd was smiling and laughing about, obviously. Yep, you're right. There's the southpaw stance.
I don't recall Evander doing that. He probably has somewhere in his career. But this seems like an act of desperation.
He's gotten discouraged, very discouraged.
He's looking for better punching angles. He told us that he would hope that he could get Byrd to square up shoulder to shoulder against him. That's only happened 2 or 3 times.
Well, you saw what he had in mind. He tried to trick Byrd into range for a big left hook. It grazed or just missed Byrd, and now he goes back to his conventional style.
If only Chris Byrd could punch, he could end this fight.
For all we know, George, the fight may be over.
What a feather it would be in Byrd's cap if a guy regarded as a non-puncher knocked out Evander Holyfield, who's regarded as having one of the greatest chins ever.
And that's the way you fight these guys. Don't throw big punches, just win every round. That's what Evander should have been doing with Byrd all along. Stop trying to win the guy, knock him out, win rounds.
Byrd, from time to time, embarrassing Holyfield with his greater quickness in there.
Has that backhand with that straight backhand again. I mean, slap backhand.
As I said, he's going to get away with that. Randy Newman is not going to stop that. Right hand landed over the top. Byrd kind of looked down disgustedly as if, how did I let myself get hit?
You see how easy it is to hit him with a shot? Byrd to get tagged when you don't throw power.
Well, and if you go to the body instead of to the head, too.
I don't think it's easy at all. Because if it would be easy, Evander would have found out a way to do it by now.
He just does not believe in throwing little shots, Larry.
He lands a right uppercut as Byrd gets brave and comes in. Holyfield momentarily landed the uppercut, but all in all, another one-sided, largely Byrd round, at least to our eyes.
How you feel? You feel all right?
How about that?
Now you're going into the deep water now. So you got to really make him work. He done turned every way. He done lost everything now. He tried to go southpaw.
He done got desperate now. You got
so he
the last 3 seconds.
You have to watch a desperate fighter. Because he
punch. Don't wait for him. Punch. Bang. Bang. Bang.
You gotta throw it.
Make yourself a commitment to get close.
You ain't got no game here if you don't. You gotta throw it.
Get close and stay close. Stay close to him.
This is Chris Byrd's version of a bird in hand. And the bird in hand for him is Evander Holyfield.
Well, if it were a jabbing contest, they'd stop it. In the 8th round, Holyfield landed 1 of 11 jabs by CompuBox estimate. Byrd 18 out of 50. And you saw the numbers that showed that Holyfield, by CompuBox estimate, has landed only 3 jabs in the whole fight. Of course, it's hard to do it against southpaws. It's particularly hard to do it against this one.
That Byrd is as foxy as they get. Got his eyes wide open.
Hard right hand by Holyfield. Byrd takes the shot pretty well. I mean, you got to be hoping you can turn it around with 1 punch against him, and if he takes a punch, well, how are you going to do that?
Holyfield just starts to get a little rhythm where he bobs to the, moves to his left and throws his hook, moves to his right, throws his right hand.
Byrd is just carving Evander Holyfield up like a Christmas turkey.
Operating at a high level of concentration.
Byrd jabs him right to the chest, too. Those punches hurt, takes your power away from your jab, does everything you don't want to have done to you.
Holyfield finally gets him squared up. Lands 1 right hand, might have been partially blocked by Byrd's glove. Shot to the body. Byrd goes into that peekaboo act. I'm here, but I'm not here.
Holyfield is just trying to get in 1 desperate shot. That's all. No longer try to win. 1 desperate. When you get desperate like that, that's when you get hurt.
I asked Evander if during their early days with main events he ever got into the ring with Pernell Whitaker. He said no, he never actually tried to spar with Whitaker. That would have been too frustrating for him. He may feel after tonight as though he's been in the ring with Pernell Whitaker.
That's right. Weighing in a little heavier though.
Look at Byrd laughing and smiling at us as he pops Evander at the same time. Evander just trying to rip everything he can with those left hooks. Crowd starting to warm to Byrd a little bit.
This guy's been allowed to rest all he wants.
Chris Byrd said it would be an easy fight. So far, it is.
This is what you gotta do. Every time you get close, you're in the ball game. You gotta punch him. Combination.
Fight this guy with one hand all night long. Are you gonna get your feet up there, get close enough so the shoulder don't hurt, and let him go?
You don't have any time to wait. That's just the bottom line, bro. It's up to you. Whatever you do, we love and respect you. Because you don't have any more rounds to give away. That's just all there is to do.
Give away nothing.
Right now, you need to think like an amateur, and you got 3 rounds. Think like an amateur. 2 rounds left.
That's right.
Like you did in 9 minutes, brother.
Come on. Come on, champ. Come on, champ.
Amateur.
Do what you do best, man. Fight. Do what you
Forget about it. Go for it. Forget about it. Go for it.
CompuBox estimate in round 9, Byrd threw 52 jabs and landed 14, 70 total punches in the round. Evander Holyfield throwing a total of 27 punches according to CompuBox and landing 8. These numbers are mind-numbingly one-sided at this point. Harold, how about your scorecard?
Okay, Chip, 8 rounds to 1, 89-82. Chris Byrd just jabbing him to death with that right hand.
I wonder if the official scorecards won't be closer.
You see Byrd is doing this, is jabbing this guy to his chest and in the side of his arms. So even his jab will not be effective anymore. He's taking everything away from Evander Holyfield. Power, discouraged him, and everything.
Well, we've often talked about this, George. It would appear the boxing match has been decided. So it would be up to Holyfield at this point to get in there and try to make it a fight.
I don't think he can do anything. He's allowed this guy to jab him in the chest area too much. He doesn't have that power anymore. This guy's just sucked it away from him like a syringe. If he'd only been just throwing headshots, it'd have been a different story.
Holyfield trying to sledgehammer Byrd with body shots.
Hit him low. Let's get him up.
And Randy Newman says you hit him low. Hey, watching what you're watching here, George, do you suspect Lennox Lewis didn't want to fight Byrd solely because he thought the public wasn't interested in the fight? Or do you suspect he wanted to stay away from that style?
Yeah, well, it's been the whole history of boxing. Stay away from southpaws, stay away from southpaws who can box. This is something odd to have one of these guys in a title position like that.
The other side of it is that if Chris Byrd goes on to win this fight in what could be a virtual shutout, he then becomes a more important potential opponent for Lewis. Remember, the big guys are the ones who have given Byrd the trouble. He was behind 7 rounds to 2 to Vitaly Klitschko when he retired with a shoulder injury. He lost 11 out of 12 rounds to Vladimir Klitschko.
And Ibeabuchi, who scored a KO over him, was 240 pounds plus himself. Right hand grazes Byrd. Holyfield digs the left hook to the body. His very best punches have been his left hook to the body, and that follows the book. It's been Evander's best punch his whole career. Byrd just knocking him back with straight punches again. Evander trying to counter with one big shot.
Byrd got hurt that time.
Don't let him do that to you. Don't let him do that.
This Tuesday, look for Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel. Among the stories, a profile of the Maloof brothers. I'm reading here, they're rich beyond belief. They own one of Las Vegas's hottest casinos, plus the Sacramento Kings, and they're bachelors to boot. What is it, a bachelor segment? No, it's Real Sports. December 27 on the record with Bob Costas returns with a special edition, looking back at 2002 with some of the year's newsmakers. Serena?
You want to act? Yeah, I've been actually doing a lot of acting. I have a Hollywood agent. I'm really serious. I have a coach. I know everybody's laughing.
I'm just laughing because you're laughing.
Evander Holyfield isn't laughing.
That may have been his most effective round. The last of that round.
Yeah, if you were looking for a round, if you were judging, you were looking for a round to give to Holyfield, that would have been the one, because he landed some crunching punches toward the end of the round. CompuBox numbers through 10. Holyfield 72 out of 250, 29%. Byrd 192 out of 589, 33%. More than doubling Holyfield's punch output. That's the big number there.
Holyfield gets rough with this guy and starts throwing those hard shots. Better do it now.
He can be rough. Well, 6 minutes to go. Whatever Evander's got, I'm sure his corner has asked him for it.
Well, he's asking himself for it. Is it there?
He had Byrd hanging on there at the last of that round. Now he can just go back to where he left off.
Holyfield gets Byrd cornered, catches him with the right hand. Trying to detonate Chris Byrd the way a big puncher like Ivander did when he caught him on the ropes in Tacoma.
Byrd's got to step up and fight this man. Don't run him away anymore.
That's what he's doing.
Back him up. Back him up.
That's what he's doing right here. Byrd's trying to make a retaliatory statement at this moment.
And I think if he just put together some hard shots, he'll be happy about this round. Just put some power on him. Make him respect you. If he doesn't respect you, make him respect you.
Well, Evander has emerged from his discouragement and has gone back to fighting up tempo, so it's up to Byrd to try to reintroduce him to that discouraged frame of mind.
That's what you got to do, but put a little power in there. Combination.
Right, I'm out.
It was Byrd who initiated that hug.
I know you're rooting for Evander, George, but he's a no-hooper right now.
Get back, Evander.
Who are you rooting for, Larry?
I'm just looking at the fight.
All right, then. Why do you think I'm?
Because
I'm
you keep telling us what Evander
I'm telling you what I see.
Okay.
I'm not pulling for anyone. I like both of these guys.
I mean, you want to see Holyfield do his best and do better.
I want the fans to see the best.
We all do. We all do, but it doesn't look like anything is there.
Yeah, he got him a few shots. You have to bleed. You're going to have to catch some shots. But
there's a hard right hand by Holyfield.
Never over in a boxing match. Never over.
And he catches Byrd with a left hook. And once again, Byrd is rocked by the impact of these punches as he was at the end of the last round. And he tries to turn around and retaliate. And Evander catches him with another big shot. Chris Byrd got caught with 3 huge shots in the last 15 seconds of that round. And now we'll see if Holyfield can capitalize on that in the 12th.
My guess, it's his last hurrah. There he is, tired, desperate, almost on his last legs. Still Evander Holyfield. Not going to leave anything outside the ring. He's going to put it all out right in here.
Holyfield managed to throw 48 punches in the 11th round. That's his biggest output of the entire fight. Byrd threw 81. Harold, how do you have it through 11?
Okay, Jim. 107, 102, 8 rounds to 3. Chris Byrd. Jim, I thought Evander did enough to pull out 11. Maybe I was being a little bit generous in the 10th, but certainly Evander wins with rounds 1, 10, and 11 on my card. Chris Byrd, all the others. Chris Byrd, basically because of the fact that he gets off first, like you see here, clean, effective punching.
I have him 9 rounds to 2.
Well, you heard Don Turner between rounds saying to Evander Holyfield, catch him in a corner. He wants to catch him in a corner and mug him.
That's not an easy task. This guy moves. Byrd even think moving.
After the last 2 rounds, though, Byrd finally knows he's been in against Evander Holyfield. Prior to that, he might have had some questions.
See Byrd just step in there with a straight left and get a knockdown. So I'm in the heavyweight picture.
Lennox Lewis couldn't knock Evander Holyfield down. It'd be shocking if Chris Byrd could. Byrd seems for the moment to have stemmed the tide of the Holyfield rally in rounds 10 and 11. He's gone back to beating Evander to the punch and fighting him in the center of the ring.
Yeah, it takes a lot of energy to do what Evander is doing. He's throwing a lot of hard shots. I mean, it takes energy. He's even connecting with that left hook to the body on the southpaw.
There were times in the fight when Evander seemed to be trying to conserve his energy. He's let it hang out a lot more in the last couple of rounds. But Byrd's winning the 12.
Come on. Now it's time to see the fight.
Holyfield was one of the last active fighters to actually participate in a 15-round fight early in his career against Dwight Muhammad Qawi. Maybe if he had 3 more rounds tonight, but he doesn't.
He didn't end the fight running away, Byrd did. He ended the fight fighting.
Let's keep in mind, Evander Holyfield has a record of 10-0 in Atlantic City. He is the star. He is Evander Holyfield.
So you're saying that you won't be surprised if these scorecards are considerably closer than the one Harold has kept during the fight.
Yep.
Is that right, Larry?
You got that right.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
I think none of us would be surprised if these scorecards are closer.
And the good thing about it, these fighters signed with Dunn King, and they're always in the title picture. There's no promoter who can produce like that.
A look back at highlights from throughout the fight. Chris Byrd's effective aggression as continually he stepped forward, threw the jab, beat Evander Holyfield to the punch, made Holyfield respond to him. Far more frequently did Byrd dominate the action at center of the ring than were the occasions when Holyfield was able to get him to the ropes, make him square up, and fight his fight. But it did happen sometimes.
It was a good fight also.
Fun fight to watch.
It was a fun fight. One guy boxing, the other guy trying to slug it out. That's what makes for good boxing matches. Holyfield was frustrated throughout the fight, but he kept fighting. That speaks a lot about Evander Holyfield.
Harold Letterman's final scorecard, 117-111, favoring Chris Byrd. That means 9 rounds to 3 favor of Byrd. So Harold gave Holyfield the 1st, the 10th, and the 11th, and all the remaining rounds to Byrd. Now you've heard George Foreman and Larry Merchant, and I'll chime in with them, saying none of us will be surprised if the official scorecards are something considerably closer than Harold Letterman's 117-111. That in the entertainment business is what we call a tease.
But Holyfield ended a lot of those rounds really tough. Last 10 seconds trying to steal the rounds like Muhammad Ali used to do, his Byrd's corner said.
All right, George, let's find out who won the fight. Jimmy Lennon Jr. with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, John Stewart, scores the bout 116 to 112. Judges Eugene Grant and Steve Weisfeld both score the bout 117 to 111. All three in favor of the winner of the IBF Heavyweight Championship of the World, Chris Byrd.
So the judges do see the same fight Harold Letterman saw, and Chris Byrd gets his well-deserved victory over Evander Holyfield. And with that, Byrd has his coveted holy grail, a heavyweight title belt, and perhaps a foothold toward bigger fights. Final CompuBox numbers: Holyfield landing 102 out of 344. Byrd landing 150 more punches, throwing 403 more punches in the fight, and landing at a higher connect percentage. All of these numbers demonstrating the effect of Byrd outboxing Holyfield. Holyfield dispensing with the jab after landing only 3 of 37. Byrd sticking to the jab as his primary staple most of the fight, 154 out of 525. Larry Merchant stands by in the ring with the winner, Chris Byrd.
Thank you very much, Jim. Congratulations, Chris. You said it would be easy. Was it easy?
Oh, heck no. Man, he is a true warrior. You know, he is such a smart fighter. He got rest when I'm up there waiting. He'll throw his big bombs and get rest. His defense is you know, something you can't really get past. I can't even say the word.
Yeah, but you're being very modest, Chris, because you beat him to the punch all night long.
Oh yeah, I did that. The warrior in him, I wanted to show the world I can stay in there and trade with these guys. He wasn't hurt me. He's a strong, fat guy, but I know I can get in there and trade with him. If I get a little more stronger, I think I'll take these guys out.
You threw more stiff, hard punches than we are accustomed to seeing you fight. Do you feel now that you're a true heavyweight?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, anybody over 220 pounds. I feel like I grew, like I told you after the Tua fight, I really feel like a heavyweight. I really feel good.
Did you think, knowing he's Evander Holyfield, knowing how desperate he seemed at the end, that he still might come through with something that's unexpected?
Always. He was throwing so hard. And I knew, and those lights got me real hot, and I got a little dehydrated in the later round, so I was like, forget it, I can sit there and trade with this guy, try to make him miss. The crowd would roar, but he wasn't hitting me with any clean punches. It looked good, though.
You've been very patient and persevered through a lot of times when people didn't want to fight you because of the way you fight, because you're not the big heavyweight. Tell us what this journey has meant to you to get to this destination.
Oh, so much. I had so many naysayers saying, Byrd, he's not, he got good skills, but he's not big enough. He never can compete with the big guys. I think I proved tonight that I can compete with anybody. Evander Holyfield fought toe-to-toe with the best guys in the world, and these guys wasn't willing to sit there and trade with them. A lot of guys are trading and then roll out. At times, I traded with one of the greatest heavyweights of all times.
So it seems you feel proud not only of your victory, but the way you fought him.
Oh yeah, I got in there and fight for once. I got something you won't dog me out on. I got in there and got the kind of fight that the crowd paid for at times, and at times I used my boxing skills and just got around them.
Thank you very much, Chris Byrd.
Thanks,
congratulations
my Lord and Savior, Jesus
again.
Christ. Amen.
All right, Evander Holyfield. Thank you, Evander. Whenever the fight you've been in has gone to the decision, you've said, well, it's up to the judges. I have no control of that. Did you feel tonight that you were beaten in this fight?
First, you know, I like to thank the Lord, and you know, I do think that he scored more punches. Whether it was effective or not, but he was able to keep me off balance about holding his hand out there a lot, and I wasn't able to get to him close enough to be effective like I did in the last few rounds.
You said before the fight that the secret to fighting him is to just throw punches at the target instead of through them. But do you get so frustrated that you feel you got to get him with something and you got to wing something hard at him?
Well, not really. It just, I get in this fight and it's, hurt my left shoulder, and I couldn't measure them up because I couldn't use my left hand.
When did that happen?
Yeah, after the first round, it was just like, well, you pray and I can go to the body, but I just couldn't lift it up to go ahead. I like to throw left hooks.
That happened when you fought another southpaw, Michael Moore.
Michael Moore, and I realized that, he allowed me to, to get clean shots because I was able to counter at time that I made him feel that he can come in. And so every time we got in a fight, I would be able to get the best. But, he had a good corner to tell him to box. And, along that he would box, even though it wasn't hurt, he just...
But he was beating you to the punch, and he was throwing more stiff punches, if not really hurting punches, than perhaps even you expected.
Well, it kept me at bay. And, because anytime you don't have a lead hand to set up to throw the right hand, you're off balance a lot. And I found myself off balance a lot. And, he was just able to throw the punches that was necessary to...
Do you think he made you fight your age tonight, or is it just his peculiar style that made you that way?
Well, styles make fight. And, just like no one wanted to fight him because he do have a very loose style, and I wasn't able to be aggressive as much as I need to make him fight like the last 3 rounds.
So can we assume from what you said before the fight, from what you're saying now, that the goal of still becoming heavyweight champion is still there and you will continue to fight?
It's still there, and my goal is still to be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
Thank you, Evander.